Hiring a pro to trim out just one window can cost anywhere from $150 to $300. Multiply that across your whole house and you're looking at thousands of dollars. But here's the good news. With some simple tools and a little patience, you can get this exact transformation for a fraction of the cost. In this video, I'll walk you step by step through installing interior window trim, from measuring and cutting to the finishing touches. You'll see how easy it is to get professional quality results while saving money and customizing the look to fit your style. Stick with me till the end to see the full transformation and gain the confidence to tackle this project in your own home. The first step is getting set up. Take time to set up so you can work comfortably, as it makes the whole project go smoother. Using supports on the table will keep the casing steady and help you make accurate cuts. Ensure your miter saw is square to make super accurate cuts, and for this project, I'm using a fine finish 80-tooth blade. I'll link the blade and digital angle gauge in the description below. Mark the reveal. The reveal is the spacing between the window jamb and the casing, and on bullnose drywall, it is the spacing between the casing and the point where the bullnose ends. In both cases, it is simply a consistent setback gap. Consistency matters for that professional look. I use a combination square. If you don't have one, don't worry. Here I show how to take scrap plywood and join it together with glue and brad nails to make a consistent reveal jig for all windows across the entire house. I typically use 3/16 of an inch, but with bullnose corners, I align the casing so that it begins just past the end of the bullnose radius. During the construction phase, I usually clamp a steel square to the door opening, which makes it easy to set my laser level to any height. Here I'm using a simple clamp on a cabinet door, and again, I can adjust the height quickly and accurately. I also want to thank DOVOH for sending their P4 360G laser level. It has a versatile 4-plane system with dual horizontal layers, which makes it great for leveling tasks on both ceilings and floors. The core assembly is protected with dual cushioning rubber, which increases impact and resistance. And DOVOH is the only brand using this design. They also offer a 5-year accuracy warranty, along with a 2-year warranty for any quality issues under normal use. Here's a look at the case and everything it comes with. This laser has been a huge help on projects like this custom 9-grid ceiling and the high-end trim work throughout the house. If you want to see the exact model I'm using, I dropped a link in the description. Whether you're doing DIY projects or running a small business, this laser level will take your work to the next level. Use a laser to project a vertical line up the side of the window. This ensures the casing is perfectly plumb. If you don't have a laser level, a 4-foot level can also do the trick. This measurement will be the inside miter. Stay with me. Later I'll show you how I saved a ton of money and made installation easier purchasing this casing. Just like any woodworking project, I always trim the ends for a nice clean look. It's optional, but I take pride in my work. And you also want a 5-star job for a custom home. This also ensures the cuts are a true 90 degrees. Mark the casing with the measurement that was taken for the inside miter. You can mark the direction of the miter if it's easier for you, and then move the saw to a 45-degree angle. I prefer to cut a bit long and then sneak up on my mark. I look at it like a haircut. You can always take more off, but cannot add more back on. Make incremental cuts rather than cutting right to the line. You can see here the inside miter is approximately 63¼ inches, but the outside is 66¾ inches as the casing is 3½ inches. Make sure to factor this in for planning purposes when measuring to purchase the casing. Do a dry test fit. Use an 18-gauge brad nailer to install the casing. I use 1-inch brads for nailing into the jamb, but since this is all going into drywall, I'm using 2¼ inch brads for securing all of the casing. Hold each piece in place along the laser line and ensure the reveal is even all the way. I shot a brad nail approximately 12 inches apart along each side of the casing. The corners will get a couple more, but not until I test fit the top section. I always keep the casing a bit loose as shown, in case any shims need to be added due to uneven drywall. This is a technique I've learned over the years to make your own shims by using a scrap piece of casing. Move the miter saw to 2 to 3 degrees and make a thin cut. You can make as many of these as you want, as well as adjust the thickness and miter degree as needed. For the top piece, cut a 45-degree miter on each end. My method is to cut it long, and you can make a perfect cut without using a tape measure. Here's a tip. Drive a nail in right at the reveal line. The nail will provide support for you to rest the casing on, which is extremely helpful, especially when working solo. Test fit the top with the left side casing, and at this time you can mark and adjust the miter for a nice tight fit as well. I needed to adjust mine to 45.5 degrees for this cut. I did not need to add shims, but this would be the time to add any shims if needed. Now, for not needing a tape measure, simply mark the cut line on the casing, aligning it with the reveal marks on the wall. This will allow a perfect cut every time. To secure the corners, reinforce miter joints by cross-nailing through the edges and using a thin layer of glue for added strength. Once I have brad nailed about half of the top casing, I remove the nail that was used as a temporary support. Sneaking up on your cut is most important on the final piece of casing. A simple way to remove a very small amount of material is to push the casing against the blade and then make your cut. This helps shave off only a tiny amount without overshooting your measurement. Glue up both miters on the final piece of casing and secure it with brad nails. If you're finding value in this content, be sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss future tutorials. We're far from done, but it's satisfying seeing the transformation starting to happen. Local lumber yards with long stock let you customize lengths to avoid making longer sections like this one work. Being able to do so will reduce waste and get into tighter spots, which adds to overall savings above the cost of material. For this project, I purchased my 3.5-inch primed MDF casing from Carter Lumber at 76 cents per linear foot. The big box stores were selling the same size casing for around $1.68 per foot, so this ended up being about a 55% savings. The nice part is that the profile from the lumber yard actually looks more custom, while the big box options were more basic and still cost more. With this amount of material, I was even able to install casing on the smaller window going down to the basement as a bonus. The local lumber yard isn't sponsoring this video, but buying long stock allowed me to customize lengths, reducing waste, which made tackling that extra window possible. There's still a lot of finishing touches to add, and I'd love to hear what you think. Do you prefer leaving the inside of the casing natural or painting it white like you'll see at the end of the video? After nailing the casing in place, you'll notice small nail holes that need filling. For painted or primed MDF, spackling works great, while wood filler is best for natural or stained wood. I apply the spackling with a small putty knife and usually scrape the excess onto a larger knife or scrap plywood as I had laying around. Press a small amount of filler into each hole. A quick tip is to slightly overfill the hole to prevent any shrinkage and ensure it's completely flush. Scrape the excess off of the putty knife and onto the plywood. Then use the putty knife to smooth the spackling flush with the casing. Let it dry completely, then smooth it by using a damp shop towel. Lightly sand with fine grit sandpaper until smooth. I use 320 grit and do it by hand to get into the grooves. Finally, wipe up the dust, and these crocodile cloths do a great job. I also use a shop vac and check any spots that need touched up, such as this one. These are supplies I'd recommend for finishing touches. Tape is optional if you're confident cutting in. For detailed casing with grooves or profiles, use a brush to get into the contours. For smooth, flat casing, a roller works great for fast, even coverage. A drop cloth is great for protecting your floors. Apply caulk along the casing. This caulk gun is old school. Let me know if you have a favorite. Smooth it out for a clean, professional finish. If you prefer, you can also use painter's tape to achieve a crisp, professional edge. The paint is a Sherwin-Williams Pro Classic White and a satin finish. Painting inside the casing ended up taking 4 coats. Let me know if you think the extra effort was worth it. I'd love to hear how your window trim projects turned out or any tips you've picked up along the way. Drop them in the comments below. Seeing the before and after transformation is one of the best parts of DIY. If you enjoy DIY builds, home improvement projects, and repairs that save time and money, be sure to subscribe for more step-by-step tutorials right here on Inspiring Builds.